What's going on, everyone? Fulton here, once again, here with another album review. Today's album review is going to be of the latest Mastodon album, Once More Round the Sun. Now, for those who have never heard of Mastodon, they are a Georgia-based progressive heavy metal band, although they didn't always start off that way. Though for over the last decade and a half or so, Mastodon have really pushed themselves to the forefront as being one of the most creative, unique, and unpredictable bands within the genre. Now, of the progressive world, I really wouldn't classify them as unpredictable as, let's say, a Devin Townsend, who released different genres completely polar from the last one, from album to album. Though Mastodon have had a change over the years, but has been a little bit more subtle. To recap, in 2002 they released their first official LP, Remission, which had a lot of heavy crushing riffs and a lot of prehistoric symbolism. With their next album, Leviathan, they aimed for a little bit more melodic driven approach in being their first concept album about Moby Dick. In 2006 they released Blood Mountain, which in my opinion really put them on the map and really solidified their style in terms of their trademark sound. And on Blood Mountain they also incorporated a lot more unique vocal approaches, vocal effects, as well as effects in the other instrumentation such as the guitars. Now, when manipulating these vocals and manipulating the guitars and other sounds of the instruments, they seem to go back in time a little bit stylistically with 2009's Crack the Sky, which in my opinion still remains their magnum opus and greatest achievement to this day. The songs were a little bit more long-winded, a little bit more ambitious, but the concept and all the artwork and videos for it were a little bit more broad and a little bit more experimental. Now, where would they go from here after? That led a lot of discussions and a lot of speculation to happen, but Mastodon have always been that unpredictable band. So in 2011, they released The Hunter, an album full of more, dare I say, commercial sounding songs. But, I mean, Mastodon have never been a band to appeal to that big of an audience, although they have achieved a big degree of fame for what they have done. I'm going to say commercial in the aspect of more simplistic, a little bit more melodic, and a lot more emphasis on the hooks. The hooks and the catchiness in Mastodon's current melodic sound are what I really think set this new album apart from albums previous in their catalog. With this new album, though, I kind of feel like the production was a little bit more cleaner. Actually working with Nick Raskulinecz, who has produced the latest Alice in Chains album, the latest Deftones album, Koi no Yokon, as well as Rush's Snakes and Arrows from 2007. Now, these are some big names with production styles that are very specific. Now, in order to craft a new Mastodon album, they can only really go so far in getting out of their comfort zone. But right off the bat, we know that Mastodon is not willing to make any sort of sacrifices in terms of their stylistic approach to music. But more so, they're going to make new music and give Mastodon fans some new Rockin' Mastodon tunes. And that's what I think exactly happened with this album. Now, getting into the opener, we know that Mastodon is always great at crafting a great opener and really gets the body moving and really makes you want to know what else is going to be happening throughout the rest of the album. With Tread Lightly, we got Troy Sanders on lead vocals, and this is a song that really grows from the opening guitar riff and slowly becomes a very big anthemic monster. Now, this is one that has a little bit more of a growly vocal approach, but one that really gets the ball moving for a very solid opener and a great start to the album. With the Motherlode, we have a little bit more of an arena rock vibe. Now, the arena rock vibe is something that I really noticed was apparent on this album. Now, I don't want to make it seem like there's an overabundance of reverb or something that sounds cheesy or dated. Nothing that Mastodon does sounds dated because of their unique approach to manipulating sound and their own approaches to playing and songwriting. With the Motherlode, it's a little bit more of a straight rock structure, but when it comes to the overall thickness of it, it sounds modern, but at the same time it has a territory that hasn't been crossed yet. I could see this one being a very big concert song, but also it's the melodic aspect that really gets this moving. Has one of the catchiest choruses, and probably one of my favorite songs from the album. Now going into High Road, we actually go a little bit more backwards in time. With albums like Remission and Leviathan, the chunky guitar riffs were really what drove the songs forward rather than the vocal approach or the effects or even the lyrics itself being quirky and memorable. With High Road, we have a little bit more of a black metal progression, but also mixed with that sludge and grit that they used to have back in the early days of their career. The chorus, though, has a little bit more of a, as I say, commercial approach, a little bit more hooky, a little bit more melodic, and something that will stick in your head easily by the time the song is done. In fact, a lot of the songs in this album really have that memorability in terms of the hooks and the lines and just the melody that goes along with all these songs. Once More Around the Sun being one of the shorter songs Mastodon has ever done, but also the shortest song on the album. It being the title track, though, it's one that stays in your head, and it's one that you want to listen to again and again and again. Chimes at Midnight, though, really starts to slow things down. I noticed that the first half of this album is really big on getting the bangers out, but once you kind of hit the middle point of the album, it starts to get a little bit more loose and kind of drift into a little bit more of unknown territory. You're really not sure what's going to be happening. And Chimes at Midnight is that really great midway point that kind of gives the album a little bit more space. It's not just this, you know, very structured, fast-driven album. It has a little bit more looseness, just like some of the ending tracks on The Hunter, as well as some of the loose tracks on Crack the Sky had. Asleep in the Deep has a lot of great and original sounding vocal melodies, and a lot of the great things about this album is that Bron Daylor, Troy Sanders, and Brent Hinds all swap and share vocal melodies on this, and not just particularly on this song, but also on the entire album. So you really don't know who you're going to get as a lead vocalist when you listen to this album for the first time. And I really love how they were able to trade vocal duties back and forth on this album. With a song like Aunt Lisa, though, we kind of have a bunch of different forces coming together in terms of vocal approaches. But with the ending, though, it kind of has one of those left-hand turns that really can take people that are under the influence on a really strange ride. But no, it was actually a cheerleader chant in the ending of the song. I think it was from another Georgia-based band, the Coat Hangers, I believe it was, in the liner notes. I really think that in terms of that part, it could have just been left as the plain riff that was playing as the outro, because it was kind of a really cool riff, and I think it kind of got a little bit ruined by that chanting, but you know, I can't fault them for their musical creativity and crafting something a little bit unorthodox and out of the box. Now, getting into Ember City, this is actually one of my top favorite tracks on the album. In fact, I think if any track is going to be a highlight, Ember City, I think, is one of the best songs to give in terms of the overall tonality, and one of the best songs on the damn thing. Great riff, great riff, great riff. That's enough to get the song moving. Great verses, awesome chorus, some really great drumming, really great soloing. It just has the full package in terms of a Mastodon song, and it's not even all that lengthy. It's a good big picture on what a good rockin' tune should be, and they nailed it on this one. Definitely check out this track if you haven't heard anything from this album. Getting into Halloween and Diamond in the Witch House, this is where things become a little bit more brooding and kind of bring the album to a little bit more of a slow decline. It's got a little bit more of a imagery in the vocals and a little bit more imagery in the vocal approach. It kind of has that like foggy kind of dissonant atmosphere, which Mastodon is really good at creating atmosphere in some of their wacky instrumentals and even some of the wacky vocal approaches, if you can believe it. I really think that the album could have had a stronger conclusion, especially after the strong conclusions that we had on albums like Crack the Sky and albums like Blood Mountain. I really think that the slow decline on that album closed it well. With Diamond in the Witch House, though, I kind of think that it was a little bit too drawn out and it didn't really have too many unexpected surprises. But I think that it wasn't a bad closer. It just could have been a little bit more climactic in my taste in terms of how strong the album opened. I think it kind of tapered off a little bit towards the end. But overall, not a bad way to end the album. In terms of how it stands in the overall discography of Mastodon's work, I don't think this is the best album in their career, although I don't think this is a bad album to check out. At this point in the game, they really don't need to prove anything that they haven't proved before. This band is unwilling to make the same old, and proves time and time again that they are one to always come out with something unique and new, even if it's not just with their own playing and the songwriting, but the artwork on all of these albums are just absolutely incredible. And even the crafts that they put into their music videos are always unique and creative. So I'd give this album a solid 85 out of 100. Again, very solid album and a great follow-up to The Hunter. Again, not the best album in their career as far as I'm concerned, but certainly no slouch, and at this point, one of the best albums of the year. This one is certainly one that stands out even among all the other great albums that have come out so far in 2014. What did you guys think of Once More Around the Sun? Please discuss in the comments some of your favorite tracks, some of your least favorite tracks. What are your favorite Mastodon albums, and where do you think that this one fits in your overall favorites list? Thank you guys for watching. Hope to see you in another review. Please like and subscribe if you like this video, and please keep on listening to great music. Enjoy.